Hi, hello, and welcome to the Far Side. I am your host. My name is Austin, your high priest, if you will, for this propagandic Friday, because I was lazy this week and/or having to deal with uh, remodeling stuff in the house that I am renting a room in, my brother's house. Why? Because he made better choices in his 20s than I did. That's just the nature of trying to pursue dreams and entertainment in a time when funny enough, like what with the streaming revolution and everything that happened as I got out of college, even going into college, being like, whoa, Netflix, all this stuff, it has so much more to offer than just, renting DVDs. Um, Never thought I'd be sad for the days of Blockbuster, nostalgic for those afternoons, evenings where it was like, what's next? It was the scroll before the scroll. I think that's like the thing that primed us. It really hit us in that primal hunter gatherer place of like, ooh, I'm going out, I'm finding the right thing, found the entertainment. Oh, great. You have this whole like satisfaction arc that deals with some boredom. You have to deal with some things you don't like. I mean, the lines in those blockbusters used to sometimes be ridiculous. But given the ease of access of everything nowadays, it makes me pine, makes me yearn for sitting behind someone in line that was asking way too many stupid fucking questions about this silly fucking Dawson's Creek third season DVD set. No, no, it does not have the director's commentary. You should not need the director's commentary for Dawson's Creek, of all fucking things. But here we are, waiting, waiting, waiting. While the clerk behind the counter that has like a bunch of Star Wars tattoos before that became like the worst, most cringe thing you can see on a person. Because I gotta wonder, and I toyed with this. Do I get like a Star Wars tattoo? I love Star Wars. Grew up on that stuff. Knights of the Old Republic got me through some dark and lonely times as a bullied boy. Yeah. Uh, Nothing like being able to disappear and go search for Darth Revan and piece together the enigma that he set upon the cosmos, the galaxy. And you're just getting called fag a bunch at school. It's like, yeah, this whole force thing where I have a lightsaber is preferable due to I have power in this world. Where this world, people are just telling me to commit the sewer slide. And I don't know, it's not a unique thing. I've got a mustache in my 30s. I was obviously titanically made fun of as a child. And that's where we go to our first topic here today. And this was I mean, first off, I'm not even wearing my cloak. I didn't even fucking get this thing on. What? I'm gonna answer people and messages. Okay. Okay, we're complete. The transformation is done. We have been begotten in the misbegotten. And here we are. Here we are. So, as our first topic, because I know you guys and gals and everyone, everything in between, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I guess we'll start with the entertainment dreams. So it is funny to watch, like many of the things that are happening in Hollywood because it in many ways was the worst fear of so many people that were trying to break into the industry like myself. And it's one of those fears that is like wildly narcissistic, yet it is also kind of the like narcissism you need to get to a place of success within that industry, unless your goal was, I want to be a cog. Like, I want to be part of the machine. I want to be a producer making stuff. I want to be a gaffer. I want to be a grip. And that was the sum total end of your ambition. Nothing wrong with that to say, just like, I want to be in costume design and I really love costume design and doing all these things. Great, a good costume designer. I don't know if bad costumes necessarily break a movie, but great costumes and set design really make a good movie great. Because if you don't have all that little intricacy, you know, you don't have a world that feels rich and lived in. You get something that feels like a Disney ride. And that's not as satisfying on like a deep primal level. And again, Lord of the Rings will beat this example to death, but they had filigree and costuming that never saw the light of day. It was, you know, pieces under pieces under pieces. But all of those things, as Ian McKellen said, they made me feel like I was a wizard wearing clothes, not an actor wearing a costume. Paraphrasing, but you know, it's that little thing that creates so much life that is interesting to watch. It makes, again, the world feel lived in. But recently, we have just kind of watched like everything become a Disney ride, Universal ride fakery where, yeah, they have costumes, yeah, they have sets, but it's about as cheap and plaster of Paris as it gets. Everything looks like paper mache or plastic that's been painted to look metal. Nothing feels visceral. It doesn't feel like it has like a tangible thing to it. And I've been seeing people talk about this on social media in a way that I empathize with because of the desperation that many people in the entertainment world of Los Angeles or outside of LA, but you know, kind of tangential to that Hollywood movie making, filmmaking thing is there are no like good jobs anymore. And even some movies that like Rip came out recently, which was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's like passion project for the recent times. They go on Joe Rogan and they're like, Netflix is making movies that you're like they want you to reiterate the plot 3 or 4 times because they expect you to be on your cell phone, which yeah, absolutely, but also this is not a shock nor surprise to most people. I think most of us are at least passingly aware that we are addicted to our cell phones if we are the sort of person that is susceptible to that addiction. I, as having dealt with an information addiction, which has been harder to navigate than a alcohol problem that I have had to navigate. It's truly like a funny, wild thing to me. Mostly because I think the dopamine hit that I and many information addicts get from like learning that new thing is so easy to take advantage of and gamify in the world of social media and all the feedback that we have been giving to our phones, combined with the sad yet inevitable knowledge that none of us are as unique as we were taught growing up or we thought we might be when we were like mini little adults. And then, you know, the world happens and you see enough of it and you just go, oh, whoa. Yeah, I think the most unique thing I can do is accept how not unique I am and just march on. So, in that, we have this like, no one wants 17,000 jobs, I think, have left LA from the entertainment world. And that's not a large number, but I think that number is probably the tip of an iceberg of jobs that have been lost because so many of these positions that I don't think are really around anymore in LA for entertainment are gig work or contract work. Like maybe you're being brought in as a, you know, costume designer. How does that job get counted if we lose that job and people are doing less of it or and there's less costume designers or they've moved and they're not working for the studio systems and they're not building or dressing sets or people on these studio lots? How does that job loss get counted, or does it just get kind of ignored that those jobs get lost because those people aren't offering their services anymore? They've moved on to doing cosplay commissions and stuff like that because they couldn't rely on jobs through, you know, the traditional studio system. Does that get put in with the 17,000, or is that part of like closer to probably 100,000 plus jobs that have been lost. Honestly, I think it is more that are just gone. Like they didn't have like this, oh, you were a writer on this thing or you were a whatever. It was just contract work that people were always fighting for positions and for that gig. And it's just gone now, and it's not getting counted, so we don't know it's really gone. Kind of like how many of these ICE detention facilities have just kind of lost track of people. The number is not zero, and it alarmingly skews towards children. And it's almost like we have a big problem in this country when uh, someone goes out on official public channels to basically say that the adults and law enforcement officials that run the ICE detention facility are not responsible for the sexual abuse that these perpetrators are doing to the detainees. It's like, wait, you're telling me that these people are so incapable of handling power, they're not accountable for sexual predation and sexual assault inside a detention center where there's cameras and they know there's cameras everywhere? Yet we're still giving these people badges and guns and full license to do whatever the fuck they want in pursuit of their mission. And this, we think this is going to end well. Really, is this what we're thinking? So I just want to continue with this line of logic, but first here we'll just this relevant. So in the creative industry space, that this is going to be a big thing the next few years. We are going to have a tidal wave of nostalgia bait bullshit coming down our throats. And so these corporations are beginning to reveal that they've been working on production studios. So, and corporations, I mean like Nike. I mean like Volcom, which I think is a subsidiary of Nike at this point. All these clothing, fashion companies are coming up with creative development arms, not advertising wings. They already have advertising departments. They already have PR. They already have all that stuff. What they are now doing and looking into is actually creating studios and actually creating movies, creative projects, limited series, streaming service, whatever. So it's like, okay, what? In 3 to 5 years, I have an opportunity to go out for or audition for a writing job on Married with Children Part 2, brought to you by Foot Locker. And we don't see this as some sort of problem. I see so many people in the creative space just being like, oh, guys, see, this is going to be oxygen. This means we're getting our jobs back. This means we have our purpose again. This means our parents weren't right, that we can make something of ourselves in this world, and that we should have never, ever listened to them ever about maybe doing something that might be more concrete for like raising a family and having kids. No, we don't even want that anyways. Those boomer parents of ours. If they wanted that, they would have bought us positions. They would have made better connections with people in Hollywood so that we never would have had to slog this way, that we would have just gotten in based on the nepotism that is so required. And I mean, just look at the basics of anyone that is making movies right now. It's almost easier to see it than it was 10 or 15 years ago because more movies were getting made. So now I'm looking at something and it's like, oh, Daniel Day-Lewis's son is directing. Oh, that's good for them. Oh, Zoe Kravitz, another directing. Yeah, good for her. I mean, she is, like, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful humans that has ever lived on this planet. So whatever she does, I will applaud. But it is entirely my self-serving feelings as a straight man that, like, I gotta love the ladies. If you're so pretty that you make me stop thinking when I was a wee lad, just like, whoa, how is that so? What? That's the same species as me? Yeah, I'll give you a hall pass when you start getting directing roles, even if it is based on a little bit of nepotism. So Lenny Kravitz. I mean, come on. Guy's a pretty fun rock star. American woman, stay away from me. American woman, Come on, set me free. That said, if you're one of the people who has made it this far into the show, 14 minutes, my God. The gluten is still making me intolerant, but that's okay. We're moving forward. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in, for dropping out of whatever you were doing to listen to this inane, insufferable bullshit. I owe you some sort of reward, and if ever there is merch, or say cloaks, maybe hats that say expert on them, let me know. Let me know that you're one of the real ones, that you were here in the beginning in the double digits of episodes, because I'm taking this all the way to triple digits, baby. Um, you know, comment Sasquatch loves you, and I'll remember your username and send you a cloak one day. You got the Austin seal of approval, seal of steel approval on that one. So here's the thing: as AI comes in, it's now this has always been an issue with the studio system that I only see getting exponentially worse between AI and like just corporations coming in to make their own movies and TV. Is they will all these fucking retards that are running around saying this is the lifeblood our industry needs, this is going to be opportunities and jobs and all that stuff. It's like these are already people that have been broken to creating like something that makes them more likable, not something that burns and speaks to them, that they have to create and they have to write because it's something that they wish to say about themselves, something that they wish to say about society or the way humans are within the universe of the struggle between good and evil. No, these are people that just desperately want to work in the fun world of entertainment. And people who have already been broken to, the kindergarten system and, getting the gold star and, whatever your boss says, boom. These are people that have been programmed, in my opinion. If you are excited to work on Married with Children Part 2, brought to you by Footlocker, you you deserve the slavery that you are stepping into. You deserve to have every bit of your frontal lobe shredded and replaced with a Neuralink, because you're not using your forebrain anyways. You're not thinking on your own. You might as well just become an actual cog in the machine and just accept it. Learn to love the assembly line. Learn to love the assembly line, for you are part of the assembly line, and the assembly line will bring you peace, for it fills your days with passion and work. So here's the thing. If anyone's going in thinking, oh, we're going to get the next True Detectives like feeling show, or the next early seasons of House of Cards, a show that really just grabs you and captures you, that Sopranos is going to be put out by Pepperidge Farms or something like that. I cannot believe that people think that soulless corporations that make terrible, terrible ads are going to produce better stuff than, say, what Disney or Marvel has done in their, or Netflix, Amazon, in their desire to produce by committee and to make these movies, to make these entertainment items, these things that they're just, honestly, I swear half of this shit is probably just done so that they can get different biometric data off of us based on what we're watching, based on the phone. So here's the thing with the second screen watching that kind of blows my mind. A lot of people don't turn on or turn off the camera or microphone settings on their phone. So their phone is actively turning on the camera here and there just to see how they're reacting to their app. In many of these apps, it's part of the TOS. If you leave the camera on, especially the front-facing camera, or you allow that facial recognition, it will scan your face periodically just to see if you're enjoying or engaging with the app well, or if the app is serving your desires and your needs. Do we think that doesn't happen with Netflix shows? Netflix doesn't put out some things knowing that you're going to be second screen watching it and just go, well, we're getting feedback on what Austin thinks of Rip. right now, even though he's watching roast battles on his phone through, YouTube. And here we go. He's Netflix. Oh, and he kind of liked this part. He liked the part where all the shooting is happening, and then we lost him the second that people started speaking. So the problem is people speaking. That's the problem. Austin doesn't like it when people are speaking. He just likes it when there's murder and mayhem going on. No, no, you have lost me with the bad dialogue. So I love that Matt Damon and fucking Ben Affleck are running around going, hey, AI can't replace people. It can't replace what people do. People are always going to people, and you're going to need people to people. And make up the good and great stories because the people. I watched your fucking movie, dude, and AI could have absolutely written a lot of that dialogue. In fact, maybe you'd be better off having an AI write some of that dialogue because holy shit, who was writing the stuff for that black lady? Like what in the stereotypical fuck? That is exactly the kind of writing that is attributed to black women that is only written by white guys that do not know black people at all. Like what the fuck? Oh, I'm gonna blow this pop stand. She talks like and I get that you're trying to go for some sort of like neo noir or I guess neo noir thing at this point with some of these things and some of these cliches. You call it a throwback. Well, I call it a fucking cliche because there is no creative transformation on this trope that we have seen thousands of times. And just because you have to fucking, oh, we're the guys in words, I'm putting the smoke up my ass. It's like, why? Why? You wanted to make this cool, older, gritty cop movie that has all these things and has people shooting each other and has people looking all badass and you got the beard that makes you look like a fucking red pill influencer, Mr. Affleck. Like, at least go with like what Bergdahl does. Get the fade going. Get the fucking fade going. Speaking of black people, go to a black barber and get some fucking sexy ass like sculpting going on with the beard. Shit. If you're gonna go all the way to look like some kind of like Asian uncle with your dyed black hair, at least look like the cool Asian uncle. So, and as I'm watching Rip, and it's like, why? This movie is painfully banal. It is painfully average. And then these guys are running around saying, oh, AI can't do this. AI will absolutely do that and will be more than capable of doing that, especially if you have like a couple engineers, say, or Imagineers, kind of like you do with the Disney rides. Except these are people who are going to go to your AI screenwriting thing, or they're going to go to Sora, they're going to go to Gemini, and they're going to say, "Hey, I'm writing a zombie movie based on two buddy cops that are trying to fight the zombie apocalypse in LA. At the same time, they're not sure that the zombie outbreak is happening. It could just be fentanyl that's real bad. It could just be Ebola's. They don't know if it's actual zombie stuff. Bring in a certain amount of self-awareness for this. Shoot it in a modern day throwback style, 270s hard-boiled noir films, and throw in some 80s like haberdashery and montages. And I want the conclusion of the movie to be regarding the trafficking ring that they're trying to uncover, or the gambling ring, the extortion money, the bank robbery, the stolen jewels, whatever the fuck the criminal MacGuffin is, and I want this all to happen right as the planes come over and the army comes in to actually deal with the zombie outbreak. Now give me 15 of those scripts, different iterations, different versions, and make the character arcs this. Make them a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10 satisfaction. I don't want it to be so satisfying that people are like, oh my god, this is the best movie ever, because then that's too much like I'm just giving them, Doritos. Like I want them to get a sun chip. I want them to get something that is unique tasting, yet so weirdly shittily tasting that it stays in their memory for 20 years. Do you remember what sun chips taste like? I do. It's just the weirdest fucking, like, sprinkly corn thing. I don't know. It was just such a uniquely bad taste that it never really stuck around in the thing. Maybe sun chips are still around. We'll have to Google that. So, That's the way movies are going to go in the very near future. You just have some Imagineer put in a bunch of prompts, and people are going to figure out if they can stitch together certain things or not, and that's how it'll run through people. But you're not gonna. It's a time thing, and whether or not AI is the best way to make movies in the near future, it's going to be the way they make movies in the near future, because these soulless fuckers and what they have done in the last 5 or 6 years, you think it's going to be any better than what they're going to do in the next 5 or 6 years? What? Yeah, we're caught in between like a bunch of soulless corporate capitalist techno feudalist greedy motherfuckers that just want to be as powerful as possible, that just want to hoard as many resources as possible. These people essentially have some sort of OCD hoarding thing, but they have to do it for power. They have to do it for power. And it's like, okay, guys, it was always a problem when these big corporate greedy reptiles would come in and buy all these newspapers back in the day, because they were just buying ways to influence you subtly through articles or through advertising, or just by having the paper never really put out anything bad about them, or those Fox News back in the day never really saying anything bad about Rupert Murdoch just anymore, and instead focusing more on George Soros and all the evil things that George Soros is doing, which he is an evil kind of motherfucker. You want any guy that gets on and is like, I want to be a god, and no one's gonna stop me. It's like, that might be a problem. That might be a big problem. So we really think that these corporate feudalists, we'll call them, lack of a more appropriate term, oligarchs, when they buy or create their own movies, studios, instead of subtly advertising with like, hey, we want you to prominently display Coke or Ford trucks in this movie, and here's a bunch of money. Instead, now they will make a movie about a turtle getting lost and a young boy partnering up with his robot dog to try and find their lost turtle. And it's going to be put out not by Pixar, but by Tesla. And we really think that this isn't going to be just absolute propagandic fellatio for Tesla and the robot dog, but we're just going to accept that, oh, it's work, so it's happy, and we get to make our own creative choices. No, you don't. No, you fucking don't. You idiot. If you think you're going to make creative choices on that thing, please get lobotomized, so that at least what you are doing, at least get lobotomized, so what you are doing is somehow satisfying to you on a deep level. Because without the lobotomy, you are not going to be able to trick the most primal parts of yourself, that when the producer mercenary that works for Tesla comes over and goes, hey guys, I don't really like this choice that you guys are making. I just don't think it's a good choice. I'm sorry, I just got to call someone. Hey Elon? Yeah, okay. I just, exactly. It could be better. No, they're barely using Grok at all. I know. I'm with you. But it's convincing these slimy humans that Grok is capable. I mean, it's just difficult. Yep. Okay. Love you too, Daddy. Well, in good news, it looks like I'm going to be the next breeding project for Air Elon. And, so I'll see y'all later. But I do have one parting message for you, because I just picture the Tesla mercenary producer being an attractive woman that Elon Musk wants to sleep with, but due to his botched penis enlargement surgery, He's probably not able to, so they just got to like syringe the semen out of his balls, and then they turkey based it into the woman. I picture that's how multiple of his children came around. All these folks that are like, yeah, Elon got real weird and whatever when his daughter became trans and started becoming and his son, then the son became a woman, and now she's a trans thing. First off, I have nothing against that chick. I do think it's hilarious the way they sometimes talk about stuff and go, um, oh yeah, but look at how fierce and how whatever they are. It's like, and no one's gonna point out the privilege thing on like a mass scale. No one's gonna be like, yeah, they are kind of privileged in a sense to be catapulted onto this level of the internet, basically. If she, I mean, the connections that she will have just because she quote told her dad to fuck off, more than any connection I've made from telling my dad to fuck off. I'll tell you what, more than most people, probably anyone in the history of time telling their father to fuck off has not gotten the same level of clout or legitimate career bump than Elon's daughter. I can't remember her name. XY Zizix, something like that. But so here we go. That mercenary producer from the corporate oligarch will come over and say, hey, look, we're just going to freeze your funding until you play ball with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contract. Or they go, hey, look, you're making some choices that we don't like. How about this? And then you, the writer or director, will come back and say, well, but what about this? You know, the back and forth that you're used to having, the fight with producers over the creative soul. And they just look at you and go, no, you're doing this. In the same way that if any of you have been in like corporate environments, like that's how it is. Like the people give you an order and you jump it. How high? There's no fighting it. There's no arguing around it. There's no, oh well, I will win if I give this convincing argument. That was a lie. That was a lie that we were told in high school, that you can craft a persuading, convincing argument for most people. In fact, most people are not to be convinced nor persuaded of anything outside of exactly what they want. And that is the future of Hollywood if we continue with this corporate funding and feudalism filmmaking. I don't even know what to fucking call it. But it's just like, it's like, guys, if you thought ads were annoying now, do you know how annoying it's going to be when every movie just becomes fucking NASCAR levels of product placement? Like everyone's running around wearing like a Fly Emirates jersey. Like, oh, who's this movie sponsored by? I wonder. And part of me is like, do we, like, I know we shouldn't bring back the sexual predators, but there was something interesting, and I think will be studied, of the decline of American cinema and the importance of tastemakers in telling or letting people know, hey, this is good. And the removal of sexual predators from Hollywood and how that dip in the product is noticeable by everyone to a point that social media and stuff better than this, I would argue, but stuff like this has popped off to such a degree as it has. So much so that the fucking Oscars are going to be held on YouTube next year or whatever it is. You got to be giving me a fucking break. You become so culturally irrelevant to your own culture that you create that you are being kicked off the air and put onto the fucking YouTube streaming? Way to bend the fucking knee, you losers. Jesus Christ. I'm here because I have no other options. I could, stream on Kick or Rumble? I've got a little fucking self-respect. But at this point, not much. And frankly, if I knew how to set up a streaming thing, I'd probably be doing that instead of just filming myself yap on my fucking laptop. But, you know, what are we going to do? We're going to lose our minds and we're going to do it together. So It's got to be done. Human connection. Human connection in the world of ones and zeros. I'm looking for human connection in the land of ones and zeros. Leave a like or comment or subscribe if you want me to not stab myself in the earlobes. Trying to find a way to make that. I'm piercing my ears. There's no stabbing of myself, and I'm not lobotomizing myself. I promise I'm not. One day maybe, but preferably at the hands of a professional. Because if I want to lobotomize myself, I want to actually be lobotomized. I don't want to be like completely brain damaged and useless, just like a vegetable. Like I want to enjoy the after effect of the lobotomy. I want to be able to just go to Disneyland and get some fucking ice cream and go, oh, silly me, I forgot that I'm very lactose intolerant. So I'm going to take my Lactaid and just pretend like everything's fine while I shit myself for 3 fucking days. But, oh well, I got to eat ice cream at Disneyland. I got to eat ice cream at Disneyland. Yeah, I wish I could have thoughts that brought me so much joy. But I am tainted and broken. So, there it lies. And so here we go. This is, if you've made it this far, again, you are a treasure. But I just had a great idea yesterday while I was scripting for this, because believe it or not, I do kind of script these things. I saw a video where a guy, 23-year-old Aryan Etigai, it doesn't matter, I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly, 23, was convicted on multiple felony sexual assault charges, after which he attempts to flee the courthouse in Santa Barbara moments after he heard the verdict. These rapes and assaults of multiple women in the Santa Barbara area go back to June, July of 2021. He was found guilty of multiple accounts of felony sexual assault and had a big what the fuck moment and just decided to run out of the courthouse. And there's videos. This guy, kind of a big dude, of deputies and sheriffs trying to like grab him and wrangle him down and cuff him and get him all that. And so here's I see this all unfolding, and the only thing that really comes to my mind is he'd make a great congressman. Look at the way that he just took initiative on himself to just flee the situation and get out of dire straits. It's not yeah, the rape is bad. The rape is, it's evil and it's disgusting and it's abhorrent. But hear me out. I just have a thought. This is a brave take of mine. I know that sexual assault is a disgusting behavior, but it does seem to me that in our government we have a lot of sexual predators and PDF files. And as well as out of the government, in a lot of high-level institutions, movie studios, looking at you, Mr. Weinstein, looking at you, Oprah Winfrey, allegedly, and, looking at like many areas of NGOs, say, look at the connection with the Clinton NGO and some potential alleged human trafficking out of Haiti ties. Yeah, everyone's, oh, I'm with her. She's better than Obama. She's better than Trump. With an open mind, go to like the conspiracy files and look up their video of the Clinton body count. Go look at anyone's Clinton body count video that's not some right-wing goblin. Not some left-wing fucking ideologue, but just like a person who looked into it, was like, whoa, this is bad. This is really fucking dark. The Clinton body count is one of those where you're like, holy shit, Trump evil. I don't like Trump. Trump bad. Orange man bad. Ooh, Trump derangement system. Trump derangement system. That'll be my parody System of the Down band. So, he may have some bodies under his belt, for sure. But the Clinton body count and the things that happen around that make me wonder if somehow they do not qualify as actual serial killers. You don't believe me? Remember who the fucking expert is. Me. Fucking expert. Expert! No one's got it like I do in the expert department. And so here's the thing. They basically gave us a demonstration of how to use black highlighter when it came to the Epstein unredacted file list or whatever they claimed to give us when they decided at the exact same time to like invade Venezuela and steal Maduro. Just like, yep, like Krampus in the night taking a naughty child. Just, oh, you are mine and I will beat you now with 7 large black men wielding sticks. You don't believe me? That is the actual Krampus myth. He takes children who were naughty and with 7 black men, sometimes 10 black men, but it's between 7 and 10 black men. And mind you, this is not African men. This is men who are dark like coal, who their skin is like coal black, cobalt black, like the dark, deep onyx. Not African people, not people of African heritage or Haitian heritage or anything like that, but people that genuinely just like coal black humans would take the children and then beat them half to death with sticks until they behaved. The old school myths of how we enforce social norms were really interesting, but it makes me think like, wow, they really must have just been beating the ever-loving fuck out of people all the time once upon a time. Like, oh, you're not getting with the program? Guess what? We're just going to wrap you in a sack and beat you with fucking saplings until you get with the program. We're going to give you a little tar and a little bit of feather. It doesn't matter that, if we heat the tar up too much, it's going to burn your skin and you're going to get all kinds of crazy infections from the tar that sticks to your burnt skin and the way that skin necrotizes. And, it's just, you might get some gangrene. You might get some gangrene, but, think about that next time you steal turnips from old lady Mrs. McGillicuddy, and, we won't have to worry about that. We won't have to worry about your gangrenous skin smelling up the town square. But talk about a deterrent. You look over at some guy, and he's just, like, hobbling. He's got, like, one leg. And you look over at your friend as you're tilling the field, and you go, hey, what happened to that sorry sucker? And he goes, oh, he didn't say bless you to the bishop when he sneezed. Yeah, those are heresy marks. You're just like, okay, note, in the head, I will say bless you next time my Lord sneezes. When you look back at history, a lot of what we are currently dealing with makes a lot more sense. It feels like we had some point after World War II where enough people who were deeply, deeply fucking traumatized by what they saw in that war came back and were like, we need to have some adults in the room. We need to have some people who go, no, if we go down that path, it's bad and leads to things like Japanese imperialism, Nazi fascism, or the American military-industrial complex and all the lovely things that we're doing all around the world for that. Hey. Or, USSR, hey, let's just send 20 million people down this fucking alley and let them all be shot. Then we'll clog the machine guns at some point and it'll all be fine. Yes. The more my mustache grows into Stalin-esque proportions, the more I see the validity in that type of thinking. Trust me, expert. So, here we go. I can just hear my old history professor yelling, you're not supposed to highlight everything because if you highlight everything, you don't know what's important. And that's just all I think when I'm looking at all this black highlighter that got used by apparently the people working to protect our government from this stuff, yet then also the amount of them that just didn't do it correctly. You got to wonder, you take some smart FBI guy and they're like, whoa, they definitely picked me. Yay. All right, we're just going to do this in the most retarded way possible. And whoopsie daisies. Little planned incompetence for you. Oh, prove I did it wrong like that. Prove I did it maliciously like that. Good luck. So here's the thing. It seems like such a kerfluffle, this whole blackmail operation. And this is just an idea, because I don't think we're kind of in the same way. We're not getting rid of all the guns in America because there's just too many guns. I don't think we're going to get rid of all the pedophiles in our government and business institutions because there are just too many. If anything, so many people got redacted on the Epstein files because the shock to the American people, how many folks were either this close to being completely compromised or were just completely compromised. And you got to wonder how many of these people were like at the party looking around and they're like, I'm just like some new founder CEO. This is like my first weird CEO sex party. And I've just seen 4 or 5 heads of state and or Fortune 500 founders, CEOs. I just saw them all jizz on this like young lady. Oh, is it gauche if I go up to her and I ask her for her driver's license just to see how old she is? Just to make sure that she's of legal age? No, because that would be gauche in that setting. You have already seen people with more political and social power than you jizz on the woman of questionable age. So what do you do? Do you have the fucking stones and the gumption to go up to that jizzed on naked young child lady thing and go, hey, you're 18, right? Right? No, you're going to swallow it and go, well, if, I mean, these guys wouldn't be doing it if it was totally illegal, right? They wouldn't be doing this if this was an actual child, right? Right? Someone. And how many people are like actual pedophiles? They're actual like attracted to children and they are just like looking around for people who are like, how do I find out who's got the same type of fever that I've got? And then all of a sudden, these people are looking at it like, oh, you just get to blackmail me? Well, hey, I get to do whatever I want, so you might as well blackmail me. That kind of puts you, the blackmail, in a weird position. Because all of a sudden, you're going from, hey, I want this experience to create the most shame possible so that I can have you vote however I want or do whatever I want as time goes on. To have someone completely in the pocket of the powerful individual. It's too much wiggle room. It's too much place in which, hey, maybe this power hungry fucking pedophile sociopath, psychopath that's never even attempted to empathize with people, never even attempted to intellectualize empathy. But maybe I mean, do you want the person that pretends to empathize, or do you want the person that is just a reptile and completely owns that they're like running around like I'm an amphibian? Um, so you go and what if you just get guys like this Aryan Etta guy who are just violent rapists, and instead, before they get tried, you do something kind of like what they've done in the movies for like the mercenary guys or the action heroes, where you get them after they've committed some violent crime, and you go, "Hey, look, we can freeze all the charges, and that you never see a courtroom, and your paperwork just disappears. You do some jobs for us, but you got to do some jobs for us. If you don't do the jobs for us, then well." You're going to spend the rest of your life in that fucking cell. What if we do that with guys like that? That's a violent fucking rapist piece of shit. And we just make them congressmen. We go, hey, look, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. You can come with me, vote how I want. We never have to do some weird pretend orgy eyes wide shut thing where I have to look at your penis personally. I don't want to look at your penis, fucking disgusting piece of shit pig you are. And you go, oh, you just got the blackmail on me? You'll just release this if I ever step out of line? That I'm some violent sexual predator? Yeah, I'll vote however you want. I'll vote blue, I'll vote green, I'll vote white and blue, and I'll give Israel every penny. Every penny you want, every penny you need. I'll give to the people doing the homeless political action committees out here in California. Because it's not just the right that's grifting. It's not just the left that's causing problems. with the NGOs. So, it's just like, boom. I just, why even spend the time persecuting these individuals if at the top level, that's who's making the decisions? Just fast track these psychos to the top, and then you don't have to just you don't have to source as you don't have to deal with the trafficking as much. You don't have to source new sex slaves. You just let these people do it in the fucking wild, and what happens happens, and then you just bring them in, boom. I don't know. It seems to me like that would be a better, more sophisticated, concrete way to go about the blackmail at this point in this modern age than with this like blackmail pedophile ring that Epstein was running. Partly because as AI gets better and AI is capable of making something like a Hollywood level style production movie, TV show, what does that mean for all this blackmail that the government or third party people like Epstein actually have on powerful political figures or oligarchs? Well, it just means that if AI is like, oh, well, the AI is here, so that was AI. Yeah, me and those 4 or 5 other heads of state jizzing on this person of questionable age. That's just AI, you disgusting pig. Is that why Grok and Chat GPT and all OpenAI or whatever are like just making a bunch of child porn? Is that it? Is that the reason? I mean, frankly, I think yes. Could I be wrong? Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. But again, do you go, oh fuck? I thought this was just like gonna be consensual adults boinking. That person looks, I mean, 15. But again, I just saw a couple Fortune 500 CEOs. I just saw like 2 or 3 heads of state all pee on them. It's my turn. I'm next in line. I'm next at bat. Like, do I take a moment and go, oh, hey, look, this is so not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just like a BDSM club for the rich and famous. Um, can I see your passport? Can you just show me like a driver's license, even a library card, something that has your date of birth? I don't need your home address. I just want to see that you were born before what is this? 2026. So 2000, I just feel really more comfortable if you were born before 2006. You fucking rube, you fucking peasant. Do you not have any sense of decorum? No sense of etiquette? Ah, ah, what is that? That's so gauche. That's such a faux pas. Are you kidding me? You might as well be out collecting tchotchkes. Putting the tchotchkes up on a wall full of angel babies and whatever the hell is going on in your great aunt's china cabinet. Those dolls that are just sitting there with the like cherubic faces. It's like that's what you are. That's how gross you are. You don't have the fucking decorum to hang at our eyes wide shut party while we jizz on these questionably aged sex slaves. The fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, I don't know. It just streamlines the operation. Gives people a lot of time for AI. And just as a closing thing, I know I've mentioned this on here once upon a time, but we just got a quick little thing. So I've been seeing a lot of this like CIA disclosure and CIA this and CIA that and CIA with this and CIA and this aliens and this disclosure thing. And by the way, we're remote viewing everything. And manifestation is real. And all these psychic abilities They're real. I'm an expert. I've read the CIA FOIA stuff, and it is so fucking suspicious. Mostly because if that stuff was possible, if remote viewing really was as they are outlining it in these Freedom of Information Act released documents, I cannot believe it because the government would never put something like that out. It just wouldn't if that was real in the same way it is laid out with The Secret, The Alchemist, all that stuff. Where if you just want it and you ignore all the signs of the reality around you and you just manifest and you focus so psychotically hard on what you want, you this individual you, that it just happens and that reality changes like that. Not even like a ceremony you have to do, not any way to like focus the ritual and your intention and create some sort of structure for this to happen. It's just you have to just think about it really hard with the planets in the right place and you get what you want out of this reality changing paradigm. No, this seems like shit that you release to make people stupider, to make people not critically think about their lives and what's happening in it, or whether or not their actions are leading to success or a lack of success, but to encourage psychotic thinking and delusional thinking in people that are already susceptible to that type of thing. Or maybe manifesting is real and, you know, the government trying to make us be delusional and like thinking about, oh, well, like once upon a time, witches and wizards and warlocks and shamans, they used to have to do like rituals in which they like focus all this stuff. But I'm like a modern universalist, and I'm really into like believing that it's all fine and dandy, and I just have to like find my inner goddess strength, just like Marvel movies told me to. And like I'm perfect. I just need to believe in myself. Anyone who thinks like that, you spit on the ancestors that did do that extra work, that did ask the elders, that did seek from spirit outside of themselves, from God, from Vishnu, from fucking ayahuasca. Like, when you seek beyond your desire to your egotistical desire to just feel good or to feel superior or whatever, but to really seek the mystery, to seek what might actually be behind my own impression of the universe and my limited myopic view of how all this is, but to truly humble myself in that my delusions may not be the reality that so they have crafted for me, that I just have to think really hard about this. And if I think really hard about this, then I become the most godlike Mr. Newsom manifester ever. Or, or hear me out, because the same people that go, oh, look, the government said manifesting's real. They admitted it. They admitted it. Look at the CIA documents. They said this. Why do you believe the government? Why? You've never, if you ask about Epstein, of course they're lying about the Epstein thing. Of course they're lying about the Epstein thing, but this thing here about manifesting, oh, it's all real. No, it's your fucking confirmation bias. Come on. I mean, who knows? Manifesting might be real. I think it is more of a positive cognitive, linguistic, neural feedback of putting yourself in a positive frame of mind to recognize the infinite abundance of choices you have surrounding you in this present moment. That you can just fucking do anything. You can. But most of us stick to a certain predictable path because we feel that predictable path yields outcomes that we might want. So one, the government has completely broken us to this habituated way of life. They have removed all but the most necessary, like holidays or feast days or gatherings publicly as possible, except for, they've atomized everyone. What's one way to not control people? Let them gather in big, large crowds. China's doing the same thing. They just break it up when it happens. Instead, we try as hard as we can to make it not happen, to make everyone focused and atomized and just so tired and exhausted. And we're trying to, they don't give people enough information about the world and what's happening. In America, they give us too much, and it has the same effect. Funny that is, but don't worry. The government's telling you that you can manifest everything you want, but they're definitely lying to you about the Epstein files. Pick your poison. Hugs and kisses. Big loves. Thanks for making it an hour. You're a legend and a superhero to me. And I hope you have a delightful weekend, slut.